Welcome to Leadership in the Line of Fire with your host, Brad Howe. Join Brad as he dives into the heat of leadership challenges, where the flames of business uncertainty meet the hard-earned lessons of firefighting. Embrace change, master agility, and become the trusted leader guiding your team through the smoke. Get ready to ignite your leadership journey.
Welcome to episode 8 of Leaders in the Line of Fire. Today we're going to talk about the tough part of being in charge, what to do when people on your team are really hard to work with. Sometimes team members can argue a lot or just not listen. We're going to look at why this happens and figure out what you can do about it. I'll give you some cool ways to talk to your team and solve problems together. And we'll also learn how to make everyone feel like they're part of a group that gets along and does good work together. So if you're ready to make your team better, even when it's hard, let's get started. Let's dive into the first step of transforming the tension in your team. Understanding the roots of hostility. Steering a team where there's some tension can feel like navigating through a storm. You might ask yourself, why are some team members so tough to work with? It can be a personal issue, or maybe it's something about the work that's just not sitting right with them. Understanding the why behind the conflict is step one to clearing the air. It's a bit like being a gardener. You've got to get to the root of the problem to help things grow. What are the real reasons behind the tension in your team? First of all, you need to identify the underlying causes of tension within the team. Do they know each other? And do they trust each other? Is it a dangerous or a high-stress environment, e.g. like a fire, or pay bonuses riding on this project? Are they from completely different backgrounds? Now, these are great questions because they make you think about those people individually and as a group. Do they belong together? Are they normally together? Are they from different backgrounds? Things to consider. In the fire service, we have deployments, and fire crews are pulled from all different brigades. They're not used to working together, and they don't know each other's capabilities. So it is a case of getting to know each other really quick, getting to know where people are. Once people know each other and their capabilities, a lot of the tension seems to drop away. Now, some people are painful no matter what you do. You need to ignore them. They're happy being annoyed. They will have positive traits, so focus on those. E.g., they're always grumpy, but if you wanted something dirty done, then they're the ones that will love it. Second thing to look at is, are there any personal conflicts versus professional disagreements? Some people are just difficult to work with or being carried by the rest of the team. This is just a fact. In a workplace, you have options. You can move them or you can get rid of them. With volunteers, you have to find a place where you can best use these people. Everyone has their thing. If you can find it, you can change the dynamics of your teams. In my opinion, personal conflicts have no place in work or the fireground. You have to be professional up until it is a safety issue. That's a line that can't be crossed. And you have to realize that adults can learn to ignore difficult people in their lives. They might act like children sometimes, but they can learn how to do that. And if they can't, it's up to you as a leader to move your teams around or find the right jobs for those people so that you can complete your tasks successfully. So what are some strategies for engaging team members to understand their perspectives and grievances? In my case, on the fireground, I talk to their crew leader first, and I have the crew leader deal with it as they know that person better. In the business world, sometimes it's my job to go directly to that person if it's one of the leading people in my teams, or if it's someone who is in a position under one of the leaders, then I will go to the team leader to talk to them. I want it to be dealt with at a lower level before I, as the leader, have to step in. This is better from the team perspective, and it's better from your perspective because people learn to respect the chain of command. 99% problems come down to a lack of understanding. Make sure that you communicate clearly and that everyone understands why, how, where, and when. These are really, really important things. When people don't understand why they're doing things, they're more likely to get annoyed at it. If people have a genuine grievance, you must acknowledge it, okay, and ask what they suggest we might do to overcome it. Remember, you're part of a team too. Just because you're the leader doesn't mean you're not one of them. So a genuine grievance is really important. And there's normally really genuine reasons behind them, either past experience or their ability, they just can't do it, etc. If that's the case, give them a chance to talk about it, because it's really, really important that they get that out and that you understand as the leader what's going on. So number 2, what are some communication and conflict resolution techniques we can look at? This is where the rubber meets the road in transforming team tension. It's all about finding the right way to talk things out and get past those tough spots. Think of it as having a toolbox where each tool helps fix part of the problem. We're going to learn to pick the right tool for the job, whether that's opening up a conversation, really listening to what other people say, or finding a middle ground that everyone can agree on. Effective communication isn't just about talking, it's about connecting and solving problems together. What are some effective ways to open lines of communications with hostile team members? First of all, take them aside. Find out what their issue is and tell them to be straight up. Don't let them talk around the issue. You can take them a gift, a can of drink, a snack, or call them to you to get something. You don't have to just walk in and pull them aside. Sometimes just taking them a drink and going, "How are you going?" is enough to break the tension and get them talking. Ask them for their thoughts. Sometimes hostility is actually leadership busting to get out, wanting to be recognized. Now, teams are often mixed, so you have mixed ability levels. And it's not unusual for someone with many, many years of experience, certainly I see it in business and on the fireground, to be placed under a leader who has far less experience because they got the leadership role. It doesn't mean they're not happy to be there. It just means they see things that could be done better. Ask them for their thoughts. If you're finding that it's difficult to talk to them, maybe send them off to do an important job. Impress on them that they're the only one that can do this and that you need someone to trust. This gives them something to do as a leader. They can go as part of the team or they can go on their own depending on what the job is. Praise them honestly when they complete the job, and I guarantee that they will complete the job. If they're busting to be a leader, they want to step out, they want to show you what they're capable of so that you trust them, that you'll give them more responsibility and that you'll be there to, support them. And lastly, if you have them on their own and they are talking to you, give them a chance to vent without anyone listening. Often it's just a case people got things to say and they want to get them out. So if they have a chance to vent and let it out, it all settles down again. They just want you to feel what they're feeling, I suppose is the best way to put it. So what are some conflict resolution methods that promote understanding collaboration? Always talk to people, find out where their problem is. If they won't talk in front of each other, take them one by one, especially when you're dealing with a whole team that has a problem. Sometimes people just have a bee in their bonnet, as my mum would say. No good reason, they're just annoyed that day. In some cases, you just have to give people time to move on. You just got to let them be grumpy. Different personalities react differently to change. Sometimes I get bugged when I'm told to do a job, and then they want me to do something different from what I'm just planned on I'm heading out to do. It's just my nature. So I'm bugged, I'm annoyed. I'll get over it. Just give me a few minutes to kind of process the fact that you're kind of throwing me for a loop. Even adults act like children at times. They need time out to calm down. That's just a fact. Most people are reasonable when they think they've been heard and actually listened to. You have a lot of responsibility when you're dealing with people, so you need to be actively listening and applying empathy when de-escalating situations. As the saying goes, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so use your ears twice as much. It's old, but it's true. Ask a question and stay quiet until you get a good answer. Say, okay, can you be more specific? Oh, I see what you mean. Nod your head and look empathetic. Be interested. Be genuinely interested. Don't just feign it, okay? And then when they're finished, ask them what they think the best thing to do is. Or tell them why you need it done a specific way. Agree to disagree in this case and just ask them to do it this way, this time, please. Use please and thank you. I don't care. We're brought up to be polite. I believe that polite people get results faster than people who shout and give instructions directly to people. You can still give an instruction, but add please to the end. It doesn't hurt to be polite, honestly. I don't care what you think, it does work. Number 3, how do we build a culture of respect and collaboration? It's all about finding the right way to talk things out and get past those tough spots. Effective communication isn't just about talking. It's about connecting and solving problems together. Here are some steps to foster a team culture where differences are respected and collaboration is encouraged. Firstly, you've got cross-training with other teams. Get teams together. In the case of the fire service, we do multi-brigade training, and we mix up the different crews with crews from other stations so that they get to work with different people. They get to work on different trucks. They get the opportunity to try things differently. If you've got two teams, often they do not know what the other team does. They know nothing about it. So mixing them up and putting them in an entirely different situation to what they're used to can actually open their eyes to what's going on in the other team's area. Pair teams off to work closely together on projects, but make one person in charge. That's really important. There still must be an overall team leader that everyone reports to, or it'll just become a schmozzle. Someone needs to be in charge. In a workplace, share some bios. Most people know nothing of the previous experience of the person they're working with. I've worked in plenty of jobs, and most times you have no idea what the person next to you is capable of until they do something and you see it and you think, oh my gosh, that's just amazing. If you can share bios around between teams, people get a little bit more of an understanding of some of the background of people and their hobbies and interests. That can help when things get tough. Give everyone a chance to provide input. Don't just ask one person all the time. Ask the team. Get everyone to talk and let everyone talk. Take team leaders aside and get them to work together, or at least get to know each other. So many times you see a group of managers and the only time they interface is when they have a problem with the other manager's team. That's no good. You need team managers to be a team themselves. It's a bit like we have a first officer in charge of a brigade, and then we have the other officers. We all work together to work with the crew leaders, to work with the firefighters, to make the brigade run as best as we can. So we work as a team as much as everybody else works as a team. When you see positive behavior and teamwork going on, you need to reinforce it. Praise, praise, praise. It's really important. Say thank you. Talk about what a good job each team has done and be specific about what they did. Don't just say, oh, you did a good job. Talk about specific things. That means you're actually taking notice. Reinforce how we got it done as a team. You know, we're the A team. I always call the A team when they have a bad fire. Those sorts of things really resonate with people, and it builds that team cohesiveness that you're looking for. Do not name a particular team as the best team. Okay, this fosters frustration and anger because they might have had an easy job compared to the other teams. So it is not wise to do that. It's better to praise everybody together or praise the teams individually on their own, not as a group of teams. Remember, be mission focused. We complete the mission together. We're all winners. The higher-ups ask me to pass on their thanks, even if they didn't. It doesn't matter whether the boss tells you, please tell the team they did a good job. Just say, I was talking to the boss and he said, pass on his thanks, you did a great job. A little white lie goes a long way. And honestly, if the boss had time, they would like to pass on their thanks. There are lots of long-term strategies for maintaining harmony and preventing future hostility. When teams get back together, give them a chance to reminisce, laugh and tell stories. See this often on the fire ground. We all get together for another deployment and you'll see people you haven't seen for 6 months, 12 months or years and have a chat about last time and what happened and, oh, what do you think is going to happen this time? But that little bit of time to chat and laugh actually builds that cohesiveness back together again, allows you to make those connections and work out who's who. Be a positive leader and keep being a positive leader. Be someone they want to follow, not have to follow. Make sure you're building key connections. So if crews or teams change, you have someone that you can connect with that's within that team that will follow or respect you. People who are in charge of teams aren't always going to stay in those positions. They move up and down depending on the situation. Understand that there will always be some tension. It goes away the more people learn what others are great at and give everyone a chance to shine. We all need something that we can be proud of and be praised for. So as we roll up the hoses on today's episode, let's pause and think about the lessons that I've shared. Leading is a lot like fighting a fire. Just like firefighters need to know the lay of the land, leaders need to understand their teams. Sometimes being in a team can be tough because people are different or don't know each other well. Kind of like firefighters coming together for different stations for a deployment. I've also talked about how important it is to talk and listen properly. Good talking and listening can help fix problems and help everyone work better together. just like a well-coordinated team can put out a fire faster. In the end, you're aiming to create a team that is strong and works well, like a crew that sticks together and gets the job done. Simple things like thank you or a pat on the back can make a big difference because it lets people know that you've got their back. If today's journey through the flames of leadership has sparked something in you, I'd be grateful if you could like this episode and hit subscribe to stay connected with our series. And if there's someone in your crew or circle you'd find value in our conversation, please share this episode with them. Your support fans the flames for more episodes like this. Thank you for joining me. And remember, whenever you face a blaze, whether it be in a business, life, or leadership, always be ready to run towards the flames.
Thank you for tuning in to Leadership in the Line of Fire. If today's episode sparked some insights, please share it with your friends and colleagues. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Your support fuels this journey. Join us next time as we continue to explore leadership lessons from the fire line. Until then, keep leading with courage and agility.